Here we have John 3:16, one of the most well-known and beloved verses in all the Bible, of course. This is really the culminating moment as Jesus is explaining to Nicodemus those heavenly things to which he has alluded earlier, and this reaches the heart of the matter, in which he says, gar, postpositive, for, hutos, adverb either means thus or so, typically translated so, for so, agape sen. This is the aorist, third person singular, aorist active indicative, for he loved, ho theos, for the God, the true God, loved, ton kosmon, the world. It's a very expansive idea. This is about the most expansive word that could be used, and certainly is intended to communicate by John the idea that there is a love by God for the entire world, and that the action that God takes, as described in this verse, is motivated by this love that God has for the entire world. God so loved the world, hosta, so that, ton huion, ton monogene, so that the Son, the only begotten, monogene, of course, suggesting only born, only begotten, the kind of word you would use to describe one son born into a family, the only begotten Son. And so it does speak here rather dramatically to the uniqueness of Christ. We have in the Bible, both Old and New Testaments, references to people being in some sense sons of God, but Jesus certainly asserts here of himself that he stands in a unique status. He is one that has a role that is not shared by anyone else, and indeed, in the full theology of the New Testament, it's only possible, really, for a person to denominate himself or herself as being, in some sense, a son of God, or a daughter of God, if you will, only because they happen to be connected to Christ, who is the one who has this status uniquely, distinctively, and intrinsically. The Son, the only begotten, edokin from didomi, means to give. I give. This is the third person singular, aorist active indicative. God loved the world so that his only begotten Son he gave. Hina takes the subjunctive, and so hina, in order that, pas ho pistuon, every one believing, or every, literally, the believing one, the way the participle is arranged in Greek. So everyone who believes, eis auton, notice here it's eis. In the previous verse, it was in auto with the dative. Rather unusual. This is the more typical way of expressing in the Greek idiom the idea of believing in something, believing literally into it or into him, in order that everyone who believes in him may apoletai, from apollomi, to be destroyed, to destroy. So that they may not be destroyed, or typically translated perish, so that everyone who believes in him may not perish, but, and then here is the answer to the subjunctive that was introduced back up here, in order that they might have, third person singular, subjunctive, so that they might have, and it's the present subjunctive here, that they might have zoein ionion, in order that they might have life eternal. Same words, actually, that are used in the preceding verse. Whoever believes in him would have life eternal. And then, as if to add an explanatory comment to it, we have this remarkable verse. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten to this world, in order that whoever believes in him. So we do have God loving expansively the world, and yet at the same time we have the limiting condition as well, that those who believe in him would not perish, suggesting that there is a prospect of perishing. Notwithstanding God's love for the world, there is still at least held out here the expectation that some might perish precisely for failing, for refusing to believe in this gift that was given. But those who do believe, are given the great gift of life eternal.